Our grown sons joined me in the studio to answer your questions about what it was really like to be raised in frugality. In 2 years of doing YouTube, we've gotten a fair share of questions from viewers about our grown sons, what they felt about our frugal ways, whether they're frugal as adults, and also whether we all still like one another after you've grown up and moved out. In case you're wondering who I am, I'm Hope, and this is Under the Median, where every week we talk about practical frugality. Usually my husband Larry is my sidekick. The boys are here tonight, but Larry's behind the camera. Larry, say hey. There you go. All right, Larry's behind the camera. So we're going to answer your questions tonight in the studio, and we have a super exciting announcement. We are going to do our very first giveaway on the channel. We have partnered with Matt Matheson and Family Money School to give away not one but two of their premium products, which are designed to help teach your kids about how to handle money responsibly. Now stick with us through the whole video, because toward the end we're going to give you all the details on how you can enter the drawing. First, I'm going to give my sons a chance to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm James. I work in quality assurance at a nonprofit, and I'm 25 years old.
I'm John. I'm a DevOps administrator and working for a nonprofit. I am 23 years old.
All right, guys, we're going to delve right into it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
The first question they would like to know, this was a popular topic, peer pressure and clothing. So the first thing they would like to know is, were you picked on in school because you were so frugal?
I think the important thing to note, first off, right off the bat, is that we were homeschooled. So if anybody was picking on me, it was usually John. Even within our broader friend circles, though, I don't really remember ever being picked on for what I was wearing.
I don't even remember picking up on a difference in people wearing what I noticed to be different clothing. I don't recall anybody ever mentioning that.
Now, here's an interesting question about clothing. A couple of our viewers wanted to know, what would your advice be? Like, they have children who are kind of embarrassed when they get, off-brand jeans for them, or they really, really want name-brand clothing. Having been raised by someone who is frugal, what would your advice be to those parents on how to deal with kids who just really want the more expensive clothes?
I think a lot of it's just embracing working well with what you have. Especially on the internet, on Instagram and TikTok, dressing in ways that are vintage or in ways that aren't in step with the current fashions are really big right now. Finding influencers that your kids enjoy, whose fashion they can imitate at thrift store prices or with used items, doing more DIY or more creative combinations of clothes, I think could really help them both embrace their own unique style and who they are as people, and also do it within a more constrained budget.
Okay, the next question is about not having the latest things that your friends had. Now, how did you guys feel about that? Did you notice there was a difference?
For me, it was noticing the technology. I've always enjoyed working with computers or any form of tech, really, and just noticing that they might have newer computers than we had, or they might have a video game system that we didn't have. That was really what I picked up on. There were times where definitely I did wish we had them, but ultimately, I don't think it negatively impacted me not having them.
I've always been a collector at heart, so having memorabilia, having toys and action figures, it's something that I'm still really passionate about. So there were moments growing up where I really missed that. I missed not being able to spend my money there. I think it did help develop a real creativity, a real thinking outside the box, with different unique places to pick up things that weren't brand new, but could still add to my collection and reflect my passions and things I was interested in.
For those of you who are wondering, did the kids get allowance and how did we deal with that whole thing, stick with us, because that question is coming up in just a few. Interestingly, food was a heavily featured topic that they want to know about. Because Larry and I we talk about saving on groceries, talk about food, talk about the fact we're plant-based. We've talked about that a lot. So Lydia Budgets and More would like to know, do either of you plan on being vegan? Are you vegan now? Do you think there's vegan in your future? And what do you think, guys?
Well, there's definitely vegan in my future. My girlfriend is vegan, so yes, that is something that definitely would be will be a part of diet for me.
My girlfriend is not vegan, so
All righty then. Sandra would like to know, and I love this question. I can't wait to see what you guys say. Oh my gosh.
no.
What is the worst frugal food fail that your mom made?
Cream spinach.
That's what they all said. All 4 of them.
Was that the one you threw out?
Yes, we threw it out.
Yeah.
That's how bad it
Actually
was.
threw something out.
I think I scarred them for life.
it's maybe the only dish that Mom has not attempted to salvage in some fashion. It was
Yeah.
so far gone that it had to be thrown out. It was
Yep.
so bad.
Okay, so I have to tell you, Sandra told me that she told me her aunt's frugal fail. She told me hers too. Hers was her daughter's 10th birthday cake. It was strawberry cake. I don't know what the story is there, but that did not turn out well. But this one was priceless, and I have to say. Sandra's aunt used onion cream cheese for a cherry cheesecake at her cousin's wedding.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It
Frugal
made it
fail.
a very memorable wedding, I guess.
I get, and suddenly my cream spinach fail doesn't seem as bad. Thank you, Sandra. All right. The next set of questions are all about how we raised you being frugal. Is something your parents did to save money? This is from Rebecca. What was something that we did that you thought, all right, this is just too crazy? Where did we go too far?
The line drying of the clothes sometimes.
Really?
That
Interesting.
there were times where the clothes definitely do not dry to the same extent that they.
So you've got to understand that when a towel is out in the sun drying, it sets up like a piece of corrugated cardboard.
It's not the same getting out of the shower.
It's not.
You know what we call that? Exfoliating, boys. That's what we call it, okay? Moving on. All right. Oh, my word. Along the same lines, what is the most embarrassing thing that we did when it comes to saving money? Like, especially if it included you.
I would go with the same answer, actually.
Really?
The
Oh,
line
how
drying of the
interesting.
clothes.
Wow. All right. I expected it to be worse than that. Wendy wants to know, and I seriously can't wait to hear the answer to this one. How did you feel about us charging you rent, guys?
I honestly didn't mind that I was being charged rent, because if I had been living somewhere else, I would have had to pay rent as well. So no matter where I was, that was going to be a part of my monthly expenses.
I don't have a problem with being charged rent. I think you charge too much for rent.
Oh my God.
I never felt that.
So we're going to be just open. All right. We always tell you guys the truth. We charged them $400 a month rent. It was $100 a week to live here. Now, we did not charge them rent as long as they were in school.
No.
When you were in college, no rent was charged. So had you stayed in college, you still would not be paying rent. You graduated from college, but I'm saying if you chose to just
Yes.
live here and go to grad school, you still wouldn't be paying rent. We only charged after they were finished with school completely, and it was $100 a week, but that included rent, that was board, that was also like all of the utility bills, we bought all of your food, all of that was included.
Line drying your clothes.
And I line dried your clothes, yes.
I racked up a lot in the utilities department.
He
having
did.
Servers.
He figured out by that point how to buy his own tech, and that tech sucked electricity like you have no idea. When he moved out, our electric bill dropped like $25 a month. I'm not joking. Okay, what is the most memorable trip or for a vacation, frugal trip or vacation that we went on?
There were a lot of really good like day trips that we took just to, wasn't necessarily that far, but like a 2-hour drive away. A lot of trips, a lot of great memories of going down to like the New Salem.
New Salem, Pontiac,
Bishop Hill.
Starve Rock.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like we got to experience a lot of local attractions in small town Illinois, which I don't think is an experience a lot of our peers probably had. Mm-hmm. And I've got a real fondness for small towns and what they have to offer, I think largely because of those day trips.
Did you ever hide from your parents anything that you'd spent money on?
Not that I can recall. I don't think I've always told you how much I've spent on like technology over the years, but it's usually technology with a purpose, things that I can use for career advancement, for learning skills that have definitely had a major play in getting me my current role.
James, did you ever hide anything from us?
I don't think so. I didn't buy a lot of large purchase items. I'm a collector, so I buy a lot of things that add up quickly. I don't think I've admitted to the sum total of things I've spent on my hobbies.
Do you feel like the information we shared with you as a child helped you to be more responsible with money as you've gotten older and become adults?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It helps us think about whether or not something, like how much benefit we're actually going to get out of something if we invest the money in it. I never felt like we were taught not to spend money, but it was to spend money with purpose, to make sure that it's worth, saving up and using that towards a large purchase that we will get that money's worth out of.
I think resisting impulse buys too. That there are very few things that you need so quickly that you can't sleep on it and really think about if you want to spend that much money on it. It's almost always going to be there the next day.
Here's the allowance question. Did you guys get allowance growing up, and did we tell you how you could and couldn't use it?
Yes and no. Yes, we got an allowance. It was tied to chores. We had a number of responsibilities. We had to clean up after the dog. We had to take garbage out on garbage night.
Dishes, laundry.
And if we didn't do those chores up to par, it would be docked from our allowance. I don't remember how much allowance it was.
I do.
How much did we get paid, John?
It wasn't much.
If I recall correctly, it started out at $5 a month.
Well, yeah, but you were 5 years old.
And then when we were probably around, I was probably around like 8 or 9 by the time it got bumped up to $10 a month. And the rules that you put in place were that right off the top, 10% that had to go to tithe. And then for the remaining amount, we got 40% of that total amount to go towards saving up for what we wanted, and then that 50% that was remaining, that had to go into savings. So right off the top, you taught us to make sure you're separating that so that get the tithe off the top, take care of that, and then set aside some for the future, and then you can use whatever's remaining to put towards purchases that you want to invest in.
Angela would like to know, what advice would you have for teens today on managing their spending and lifestyle?
Oh, I feel really out of touch with teens today.
I am a teen today, and I feel out of touch with teens today.
That was Daniel, who's 18. He feels out of touch.
I'm also a teen today. I'm still out of touch with teens today.
And that is Philip, and he's 14 and out of touch. All right,
I think for me, the biggest thing is just having a budget so you have that visibility, because it's a lot easier to, when you're out with your friends, it's a lot easier to spend that $10, $15 on going out to eat when you aren't actually seeing how much money you have coming in and like certain expenses that you'll have there. You'll have to have this per month for car insurance, this is for gas. If you have a budget, even if you forget to follow it, for me, I find just having a budget at all is still helpful, just to be able to see and kind of second guess whether or not you really need to spend that money on something.
And speaking of teaching kids about how to spend and save and give money, just a reminder for you, we've got that giveaway coming up. 2 of the Family Money School premium products. Make sure you're watching because we're going to give those details in just a little bit. Mama of 5. Actually, this question is from her 11-year-old daughter, Lily. Hi,
right.
Lily. Thanks for watching. This is Lily's question. She wants to know, what's the biggest purchase you've made, and at what age did you start saving for that purchase?
I think that would have to be a car. And I mean, it's hard to say how long we started saving for that, because in some ways you could say that when we started setting aside that 50% of our allowance, I mean, that was going into a savings fund that eventually did get used towards that car purchase. So it's hard to say exactly when we started, just because we started that habit so early. Doing that has allowed us to purchase our vehicles and pay cash for them and not have to, worry about, having a car that we have to try to keep track of having a loan for.
I'm going to ask this next question. I know James has a great splurge. What's your favorite splurge, and was it totally worth it?
Oh yeah, I spent money on an 18th century statue of the Blessed Virgin Mary from Europe, and I think it was 300 something. It's been a while. Absolutely, 100%. Sits on my desk. I love it.
All right. Maybe you can both answer this one. What's something, did you ever spend money on something you absolutely regretted later?
I can't think of anything.
I mean, yes, but it's never been something major.
Right. Yeah, anything major.
I'm sure there are examples where I did spend money on things, but they were so minor that at this point I just can't remember them.
I have to say, dipping back just real quick to the car question, for those of you wondering, we had a mom and dad, like a matching gift program when they saved for cars. When they saved their first $1,000 toward a car, we matched it. Then when they saved the second $1,000, we matched that. So automatically, if they found a car for $4,000, we had paid for half. And James, believe it or not, the first car that he bought, I guess you were in college. You had started college.
Yeah, I was a freshman.
And he bought it for $3,600. He's still driving it. I can't believe it, but he's still driving it. It still runs. So yeah, in case y'all are wondering about that.
And that matching program wasn't just for cars, it was for almost any major purchase. Because I think at 13 you stopped paying allowance?
At 13 or 14. It was about 14 we stopped paying allowance, and instead we started the matching gift program. And if they did babysitting, you did pet sitting, lawn mowing, you installed a fence for Aunt Sandy. She had you out there. It was hard labor, man. Yeah. But she paid you well. And all that money that they earned, if they were saving that toward a specific purchase, we matched every penny of it. But we only gave them the money when they had picked the item. So they had to do the product research. They had to figure out what you wanted in the product, and also, so we stopped the matching gift program when they reached a certain age. And John knew that the window of opportunity was closing, and so he came to us with a list of about 6 things.
I think it was only 3 things.
It felt like 6. and I told your dad. Your dad said, "Well, this almost sounds like a line item in our budget. Do you think he's going to reach all these goals?" I said, "Oh, he'll never do it." And he did. He reached every single one of them. I think he
bought like
15.
a computer, iPod, tablet. I went all out.
He did, and he worked. Anybody asked him to do things like, "Yep, I'm there, I'm doing it." He earned every penny, and we matched every penny of it. And we matched half so he could get it. All right. This is a great question for young single people. How do you manage socializing while maintaining your budget? Because they said, Caroline said, it feels like most socializing happens over food or shopping or paid activities. And, how do you figure out what you do and what you don't do?
I think in general, spend money on what brings you joy. Mm-hmm. You're voting with your dollar for where your priorities are. There's nothing wrong with spending money on a good meal or a good night out with friends. The key is determining how often you can afford to do that and how much of your budget you can afford to allocate to that. So I think part of it is deciding what are these major social events that I know I want to spend money on, and I want to go have a good time and not worry about how much I'm spending on this food with my friends.
Okay, this is rapid fire. You ready? This is like the rapid fire.
All right.
Okay.
All right, you ready? Do you have a budget?
Yes.
Are you saving for retirement?
Yes.
This is still rapid fire. I'm just reminding you before
Okay.
I ask the question.
Oh, no.
You ready? Is frugality in a woman a criterion of potential mate?
That's how you define that.
Yeah.
The girls are watching. What's your opinion about frugality? And so, to be clear, like you are both in a committed relationship. You've talked about money, like openly.
Yeah.
Like how long into the relationship was it before you guys started talking money?
Oh, very soon. Like, I don't even know if we were dating by the time we were talking about money. It just came up.
Interesting, because you were friends for quite a while before you started dating.
Yeah.
And so, how long after you started dating Delaney did you start talking about money?
I really can't remember. I don't think it was terribly long. A few months maybe, but
Yeah. It's been fun for us to watch, like as they've navigated serious relationships, seeing them tackle a lot of hard topics that Larry and I never. And we were probably married a year before we went, oh, we should talk about that. Next rapid fire question. Did you pay for college yourself?
Yes.
Yes, he did. Well, yes, we gave him $1,000 a year for books, so we should
And
preface
I
with that.
got
But
significant scholarships. But outside of that, yes.
he did, and you have a degree in.
I have a degree in psychology. I have a bachelor's, never took out a loan.
That's right, and so we should say, just because I'm proud of it, you graduated.
I graduated summa cum laude.
Yes, you did. All right, who taught you to drive?
Dad.
Dad.
Yeah. Did you have to pay for your own car insurance?
Yes.
All right. Do you believe that growing up frugal prepared you for adulthood?
Yeah.
Next question. Did your parents give you any recommendations or advice on finding jobs as teens and then later in choosing a career?
I wouldn't necessarily say like you gave us advice trying to tell us what to do, but if we came to you asking for your opinion on something, then you would definitely tell us what you thought of that and give us guidance that way. Not necessarily, it wasn't you trying to tell us what to do, it was us just seeking wisdom.
It was an expectation that we would get a job at 16, but we were never told what that job had to be.
One of the things that we were really, really strong on is not telling the boys what to think, but teach them how to think. And so we would run through scenarios with them and guide them and allow them to make their own decisions. I think we gave you guys a lot of leeway in making decisions for yourself and helping you figure out what that felt like to make a decision and to let you fail at times.
And if we were to come to you and ask your advice and go and do something else and have it blow up in our face, you never told us, I told you so, ever. It was okay for us to fail, and you would help us work through how to pick up the pieces afterwards. You didn't hold that failure over our heads.
So I have to tell you that question about finding jobs as teens and choosing a career was from Matt Matheson. Matt is the creator of Family Money School, and he is the creator of the product that we are going to be giving away. Now, Matt did a short video to sort of introduce himself to you and tell you a little bit about what you're going to be winning.
Thanks so much, Hope. I'm absolutely pumped to be partnering with you and Larry to give away my money courses for kids. So the Ultimate Family Money School is actually a bundle of both of my premium money courses for kids. So the first course, Young Money Adventures, is parent directed and it's for kids 12 and under. And the other, called Money Genius Academy, is student directed, and I created it specifically for teens. Now, both courses combine beautifully designed video-based lessons, the high quality teaching of a veteran educator, yours truly, with engaging and enriching student activities to guide kiddos through the ins and outs of personal finance. And I designed the courses specifically so that your kids will be having so much fun, they might even forget that they're learning. I mean, at the end of the day, every parent wants to raise kids who have the financial foundation they need to thrive with money as adults. And I mean, the Ultimate Family Money School, it makes that simple. And I'm really thrilled to be able to give them away to 2 lucky people in the under the median community. So all you need to do to enter the draw is click on the link in the description below. And because in my mind you're all winners, I wanted to be sure that no one goes away empty-handed. So just by entering the draw, I'm going to send you my ebook, The Definitive Guide to Ensure Your Kids Never Go Into Debt, which shows you the exact steps you need to take to help your kiddo avoid the most common debt pitfalls. We were talking things like credit cards, student loans, car loans, and mortgages. Once you enter the draw, you'll get a notification from me and you'll get the freebie that'll come in your email. And I can't wait to draw the winners with Hope and Larry in just a few weeks.
Thanks, Matt. It is incredibly generous that Matt is giving away not 1, but 2 of the premium programs. So how can you enter? It's easy. There is a link in the description of the video. Just click on the link. Remember, everybody who enters is going to get that free 28-page ebook. I have a copy of that ebook, and Matt honestly could sell this, guys. There's a lot of really important, valuable information in the ebook. If you know anybody that would love to win a copy of this program that will teach kids how to handle money, make sure that you send them that link, and be sure you send them back to the video so they can watch the video. We would love to have you do that. A couple of common questions people are asking. Number 1, you do not have to have school-age children to win. Doesn't matter. You don't have to homeschool to win. The prize is transferable. So if you win and you don't have any children, you can gift it.
Wow.
Yes, to some other family that you know would be blessed to be able to have this program for their children. We would love it also if you would remind them that you found this through Under the Medium and send them back here to the channel where every week they can hear about practical frugality. Now, guys, do you remember all of the free things we did with you while you were growing up? Very meaningful free things.
Yes.
We actually gave a list of 60 free things you can do with your kids, and it's in a video, and the video is right over there, and you should watch that video. Next, I'm going to have both my kids that weren't on camera stick their head in at the end here.
Hello?
Hi.
Thanks to all of my kids, especially my grown boys, for coming and joining us tonight in the studio. Thank you to all of you for joining us too.
Thank you.
Bye. We'll see ya.